I have to tell you something.
What do you do?
It's just going to sound like you're yelling at me.
Yes. And we're not dipping into it. And I don't know why.
Say it again.
Das Blaue vom Himmel lügen.
I just know that every time I have read it, I go, ooh, got it. It cuts. Lit, closed, monkey dead. I don't know anything. Got her.
That's going to be the hashtag for this episode. Welcome back to Is It Canon? My name is Anne. This is Tom. And today we are discussing nothing.
Who the fuck knows? Nothing.
We have no comic right now. We read all of them. And so we're just going to bullshit.
We could go back and revisit, and I think we will on issue 2 at some point, because I would like to, again, that was the episode we talked to Rips, and Rips isn't a big comic guy, but he's a collectibles guy. So like, yes, we talked a little bit about the issue, but it was more about the collectability with the blind bags and the rarities and the hollow foil covers and all of that. So it was more about the collectability part. So we will go back and visit that. But, we were like thinking, what do we do? We were like, fuck it. Let's just improv or really just come up with some fun segments and kind of discuss some things instead.
I feel like in general, when we first started, we revisited all the issues because they had been coming out we were kind of playing catch up at that point. Now we are always on topic, which is great, but it also means people are not rereading them. When we brought them up after a couple of months, when we discussed them, people would reread the issue that read initially. So I think it's good in like a year or so to bring up old issues. Maybe when the second one comes out, bring up the first one again for people to actually reread them. I feel like that was a big part that came through our podcast, that people opened them again and really dove into like reading the stories and getting the most out of it. I feel like I missed that a little bit.
That's a good idea. Like, we know that the Ninja issue is going to continue. Ninja's getting its own storyline, and we know a few others, but we know that for sure. It's confirmed. Yeah. And like 3 issues of not VeeFriends number 7, it's Notorious Ninja issue 1, 2, and 3. So it's getting renumbered in its solo title, written and directed.
Maybe. We don't know if that's going to be a movie.
Written and art by the original cover artist and his brother. So like, super exciting. And when that issue drops later this year, we will go back. We'll like revisit 7 and then go to the new issue. So I think that's a great idea.
I think it will naturally happen too, maybe for some people, as like issue 1, 2, 3 come out, that they want to read the original one. But I think it's always good to bring it back into people's mind. Like, for sure. Again, people.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a lot of people like you that got introduced and are getting into comics because of VeeFriends. They were VeeFriends. And, they've read all the VeeFriends comics and then they're like, I'm caught up. And I would love to see more people go, what else can I read? I like reading comics now. What can I read? And then they, hit me up, which many have. And I've given, some direction on what comics I really like and writers specifically, what kind of genres and do you like spandex and superheroes, or do you like crime noir type stuff? And, I would love to see that. Or if they don't want to branch out, then, reread them. Reread the comics. Cause again, we covered issue 2. I've read it a few times, but I don't remember every single thing about it. And that was a short comic. So,
but I feel like there's more people who are diving into different comics. Like I feel like the 2 of us see it on the timeline because and like in DMs because they talk to us about it. But it's really cool for people to go into a comic book store for the first time and really, I know that a couple of people picked up things for their kiddos, just to kind of introduce them to different characters and different genres, which is really cool. And I found out today that there's a comic book store that just opened. It opened, I think, while we were in Texas. Like, our town is super small, and they usually don't really ever have to go downtown because there's nothing really there. We have like a couple of tiny shops, but I went to the post office, and there was next to it was something else that just opened, and that's why I just glanced at it and was like, that just said comics. so I stopped the car and got out and checked it out. And they're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So Wednesday, when this comes out, I get to go.
Which Wednesday is big in comics. That's when new comics drop. So you know that you'll never see a comic book store closed on Wednesdays. Monday and Tuesdays make sense.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But I already found the person on socials and just already texted her. So I'm excited.
That's cool. That's awesome. I mean, like, it's great when you can find a local comic shop. I'm interested to hear more about what they have, right? Because what does a comic book store start with? Their revenue's got to be mainly pull lists, you know, new comics coming out. You put in, you know, they give you kind of like a sheet or there's a selection of what's coming out, and you check what monthlies you want.
Yep.
And you go every Wednesday and pick up whatever comes out that Wednesday. That's where most of the revenue comes from, because the stuff that I like, the collected editions, those, they have them in store a lot of the time, but they sell it for the cover price, which you can usually find cheaper. So it's like, you can buy from them if you want to support local businesses. I highly recommend that and all that. But I think they'll do sales at some point too. And then a lot of times they have backlogs, long boxes of old comics. You might see, I don't know if they do 50-cent boxes anymore. 10, 15 years ago they did. And you kind of can go through them and pick out, you know, 10 comics for $5. It's so hopefully they have some of that stuff too. The only comic store near me are like super commercialized. And then there's one guy who it's purely, he buys, people bring them stuff. He runs it out of his house, which sounds sketch, but it has a sign and all this and a parking lot. But he lives upstairs, and it's a used comic and vinyl record store in a residential house. Like, behind a curtain is like the kitchen, but you walk in, there's a staircase up. You're not allowed up there, but to the right is comics and to the left is vinyl. And I've gone there so many times, and he'll, you know, I'll bring stuff and he'll be like, okay, I'll give you this much in store credit. And then I just go shopping, and he's got all of that stuff, but people will bring full collections to him and he just buys it out. So he's constantly churning stuff over.
Seems to be a really small store, definitely. And I think that she also does packs, it looks like Pokemon stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I think she wants to do merch. It looks like a little bit of everything. And on the website, or not on the website, but on socials already said that she has an eBay and she's want to start Whatnot soon. So it will be cool to get that in there.
Smart. That's smart.
Yep. I think you have to, especially like our town is super small. Like when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if it's going to make it here. I don't know if there's enough people interested in that kind of stuff. And again, like if you don't go through downtown, you don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see like what she does.
The brick and mortar part of it might just be to get the distribution of comics, and pull lists are going to be like, you don't see that on the shelf. So like, you might not see a lot of people there, especially not on Wednesday. You know, I bet on Wednesday is when there will be the busiest, because people are going in to pick up their pull list. But you know, that doesn't mean that they're not, you could have an empty store and just have a pull list, but you know, to get distribution, what I'm learning is damn tough. So you need brick and mortar sometimes. So
I'm excited.
I'm glad.
Gonna bring some comics in, introduce her to it, and then see.
Yeah. So what is the plan? Are you going to introduce them to, if they're doing cards too, then you can go all angles of VeeFriends.
Like I also still have my mini machine at home, because there wasn't like a store in our town that I felt like it made sense. Well, it depends on like how much traffic she has, but I could see that going in there. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Asking them, because then I would be in town and not to like go far. So definitely gonna go in, have a conversation, show her some comics, and then start a relationship from there.
Sounds good.
Yep, I'm excited.
Cool.
Did you pick anything up recently?
Meaning in what? Pick what
Texas?
up? Oh yeah. Thank you for leading me in. I did. So it was sitting up on the wall on, you know, we went to Texas. We talked about it last time. we're what 2 weeks, 2 Wednesdays away from it. But while in Texas, Sam or Whiskey Jack had on the wall issue number 2, which is getting up there in price. I mean, sealed packs are like $400-$500.
It's ridiculous.
Lucky to have 5 of those stashed away. But he had a hollow out of 99, which we've never had. It's not marked on the label. I'm holding it up for our listeners. It's not marked on the label as a hollow foil, but this is an out of 99 hollow cover, and you can tell by looking at it, and it's a 9.9. That was the draw to me. I don't know if their VeeFriends, especially I've heard with issue 2 on CGC's website for Pop Report that it's incorrect. But it shows a pop 1 of 9.9s in any issue 2s. So I was like, if this is a true pop 1, even if it's not, a 9.9 is so rare.
Yeah.
Now, issue 1 got a lot of 9.9s, like 30 something, but it's still out of 555, there was 30 something or 29, something like that. 9.9s and only 3 10s. 10s are like unicorns. And the only reason I'm convinced that they even got those is because no one touched it. It didn't go in the mail. I mean, it probably went to the mail. I don't know, actually. It went from manufacturer to CGC. So no one's like when people are ripping these, I sometimes really cringe when people are doing videos ripping open the comics and they like cut the top, which or worse, cutting the top is better, but like if they open up and then try to just slide it up, I think corners get snagged when if you try to just lift it up out of it. So I open it like a pack of cards, but then I open the whole thing down and open and like kind of like lay it flat and open it so that I can lift it right out. The sliding up, not that I cringe, but I in like, oh, that's cringy. I cringe because I'm so nervous that the point, not the spine point, but like the 2 points on the non-spine side are just gonna hit part of the bag, and just that little thing just changes so much value. Now that's looking at it as a value, but I'm seeing people do it to, rip it to see if they can pull a rare one. So anyway, to get a 9.9 in issue 2, where it was a blind bag, especially a hollow foil cover, which I think is, harder to get better grades. I was like, I kind of think we should make a play for that. So it's not a personal, it's a To the Moon. To the Moon owns a 9.9 out of 99 issue 2. It's the fairy. It's
it has to be.
The fairy's just going to keep going up. I was talking to Jay about it, and I'm just like, issue 2, similar to issue 1, but you'll see big swings. I've seen sealed issue 1 sell for like 4,000. I've seen some sell for like 2,200. So like that's a big swing in difference in price. But for issue 2, it's just gradually going up. And I think that it's proportional to just VeeFriends as a brand. I don't see issue 2 depreciating really ever. It's not something that's like built up and then goes down. That peak and then valley, that happens a lot with, when a new card set comes out, people will overpay for something because we don't know. And we've seen things go up in value, like this comic, like Comic One, like Sapphire boxes, that there's the initial spike and then it'll come down to earth, and then people will find it later. That's essentially what happened with issue 2. It got sold for what, $25 a comic. There was only 3,000. And at the time that was like, they're not selling 3,000 comics. That's what we all said, myself, you included. And then they did 3,000, and then they went to 10. I'm like, what are they doing? Now we're at the point where 3,000 is not enough.
Yep.
3,000 will sell out of it. 10,000 is not yet. Someday we'll be saying, like the first issue of Walking Dead, the first print run of The Walking Dead, this big, massive IP turned into the most popular show at the time, and had a print run of 7,000. So like, and you can't find them. They're worth thousands of dollars and you can't find them. And then there was second print, third print, fourth print, meaning like after the 7,000 plus came out, it starts gaining popularity. They do a second print. Second print never, ever like, and you can tell by the barcode. Above the barcode is numbers. So like 0001 is issue 1. And then it'll have a 2 for second printing. That's how you can tell. Had 4,500 and then third print and fourth print. That's when, the demand's there, but they never match. It never gets to the value. So there was original 7. So having a 555 issue 1 is crazy low, and 3,000 for issue 2 and 3 is crazy low.
Yep.
So anyway,
I feel like you already see the demand too which is going to be really interesting now that comic number 7, Notorious Ninja, has announced that there's a series coming from it. Those are going for more already. Yes. Like the Blood Red. Like we also like have at least like 2 or 3 people who are completely going in, and I think they're just like buying up everything, so that makes the whole market go crazy. But like, I think the closer I don't think everybody still knows yet that the series is coming out, unless you're really tapped into VeeFriends. Sure. So I think once that comes out, I think it's going to go up too.
Yeah, it's really having a moment right now, the Blood Reds, specifically. And I just, we just saw C2E2 content, a bunch of, community members, they're cracking their series, their Blood Red covers, getting it signed, remarked from David Mack, who was there, and then getting it either signature series or cross slabbing it with PSA, because some people are more PSA people. I think that's insane, but that, I love that that's happening, but that the print run, just to be clear, because actually someone asked me this and I thought I knew the answer and they thought the opposite. Are the Blood Red cover, there was how many printed of those? 1,000?
Yeah.
Is that included in the 10,000 print run? Or was there 11,000?
No, I would have to look it up.
See, I thought that it was in addition to the 10,000. So the person I talked to actually went as far to think that the Mac cover B, there's 2,000 cover Bs, but 1,000 of them, there's 1,000 regular and 1,000 Blood Red. And I was like, no, I thought Blood Red was a complete offshoot of it.
Let me see if
because I don't think it says it on the back of there. It says 2,000 copies of cover B. It doesn't say that it's split between regular and Blood Red. But then it got me thinking, that was one of the ones that people were like, I can't pull a David Mack cover.
Yeah, it just says cover B by David Mack, limited 2,000. But I think that means this. You might be right that there's
11,000 then, because that was to me a surprise pop-up thing, and it didn't get included in that print run because it slabbed up.
I wonder if it's on in the blog post they wrote. We can definitely ask DJ about that, like if it's extra or not.
All right, well,
because that also changes, I feel like, how valuable certain things are, because even if it's water cut, like the normal cover from David is only 1,000 versus 2,000.
If that's the case, then yeah. And I thought that didn't even enter my brain. I thought it was 2,000 and then there's an additional 1,000. When they said that though, I was like, in my head, I'm like, wait, that was like one of the ones that like you couldn't find one. I ripped like 10 to 15 and only got one. Luckily at Comic-Con, where it's this one that says first print, first signed. Like the grail to me. I think it's the coolest one and no one can beat it just because it's first sign. Anyway, yeah, so that they're really having a moment and I love to see it because I thought I came out of Comic-Con going, that is the coolest exclusive that they dropped there. And there was several, but that was to me the coolest one.
Yeah. Because it was like special too, because 3 dropped at the same time, making some of them just extra. And I wonder if at that point they already knew the continuation, like because it's so. And the Ninja was the one. They were always more expensive. Every time they had a show, all the comics were $29 besides the ninja. It's $35. Gary never wanted it to be lower. There's something about ninja that he already knew about. So I think they probably already knew about the continuation.
I have a lot of ninja comics. I have a lot. Like, we have many Blood Reds. We have the CGC out of 50. I have several signed by Kate that are JSA authenticated 9.8s. I went in on Ninja because I, was bullish on it. And that was all from Comic-Con. I hadn't even read it yet.
Yep.
So I'm pumped about it. I'm glad it's having its moment, and I'm excited because David Mack's a big name, as we've covered before. So that's super exciting. I saw my first Jay Lee remark. Someone got a Jay Lee cover and got Jay Lee to remark it. If you don't remember, the listeners, I know Ann does, Jay Lee was supposed to be at New York Comic-Con and had to call out and cancel at the last second. So we were not able to. I've met him before, but we were not able to talk to him about it. We weren't able to get any signatures. His sticker was handed to someone else. We had to collect it from the the VeeFriends booth. So I saw a remark, and it's so good. I know. It was really good. I have a commission from him from like 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. And it's great. I love it. It's of the Riddler on my Batman piece. And it's great. But the monster remark he did is more detailed. So I was pumped to see that. And he's like a really nice guy. So it was cool that people went up to him, because I feel like a lot of people have gone up to Mac at this point because he was on a Whatnot show with Gary. He was at New York Comic-Con. He was at Emerald. He was at C2E2. And so people are going up to him, and I'm loving how much people are. But I feel like Jay Lee hasn't really gotten it. So I think that was awesome to see. So I was excited to see that, and I want to see more of that.
I love that more people are going to Comic Cons.
Yes.
There's multiple people. I went to my first one in Seattle that I hadn't been to in ages. Soggy just went. There's multiple people who had never really been to one unless VeeFriends was there, and now exploring it.
Right.
Just what it is, walking around, trying to figure out what artist Ellie is, and just with the comic book stores. They're checking out different comics, to comic book stores in the area, going to different Comic Cons now. And I think it's super important. I think it's also important for VeeFriends to have a presence. I know there have been going to a couple now, Corso and DJ, and just having a table. It's not a big setup. It's just them with the table, comics, and just educating people. And I know they don't. It's not a money maker. Sure. I having been to the one in Seattle. It's not a ton of people buying them because they're still expensive for a comic because they're sealed. And if you're new to it, who's dropping that much money for something you don't know?
To be onboarded. Yeah.
They do have specials though, so they do run them cheaper to get them into people's hand, which I like.
I think they should just bring they should be either buying back or something base covers and just having them.
I know
ripping a whole ripping some of them and having just so that you can get in and keep the foils.
They do. So they usually rip a couple of them, and I think there's kind of in Seattle where they then also remark some of them to sell on streams that run streams live. I think at C2E2 they ended up also giving away some to kids only.
Always.
And I don't know if I can say how cheap they are. I don't know if Gary knows. Gary's not watching this, so I'm fine.
No.
They're usually selling them, I want to say, for $25 sealed, which is cheaper than online at the shows. And if it's just a base open one, they will sell them for $10, which I feel like that's a price somebody will get into.
Yeah.
So they open a couple, and then so people can actually read them there if they want to, look at them at least, or get a cheaper copy, which I really like. But I feel like they're so important to just have a presence. Yeah. People are not going to know about you if you're not present on these Comic Cons, even if it's just a table. That, even if they don't pick something up, but just constantly being exposed. It's oh, there's this company, and there again, and there again, and there again. Just I feel like that's important. Even if I know you make more money if you're on Whatnot and you have more eyes on you, but like just the conversations you have at these tables, like again, having been to the one in Seattle and just standing on the side and just like kind of watching them do it, you just have a deeper level of onboarding people and really getting them into it, which you just don't have on a stream. You just don't, period. Like you don't catch everybody. People don't really ask the questions or they don't get through. Was having like really deep conversation about here are the different stories and that's why they matter. And here are the artists we have worked with. And like you can see the people just like, holy shit, like I didn't know this existed. You know, so I think as much as it doesn't bring in the money, I think it is important for the brand building.
Yeah, I mean, it's both. You got to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really just doing the right moves, and I'm glad to see again that we're seeing comics, especially these early ones, have a moment. Which, by the way, I have to tell you something.
What do you do?
I secured us a couple copies of issue 32A.
No way.
I did. I saw. I was talking to someone. I saw one pop out on eBay. I messaged them. They had it. They had two, and I bought both of them so that we can finally do a review of 32A.
We should grade one too.
Well, for sure, but we gotta. So that's the tough part, right? Because I've been telling people to buy two of things. So like grade one, read one, or keep one sealed. And that, I just want to keep buying more, and I might just because I want to go. I will probably grade it. So like,
neither of us has read it yet.
Maybe we should open one and like take the pictures as we need to do the episode on it, and then grade the other one. We'll still try to grade. I mean, it's 32A, so like we're gonna grade both. It's just the one that we read might grade a little worse, but at the end of the day, it's an issue 32A. So we'll grade it anyway, and it'll never go down in value.
Maybe the reader one, we could get a signature and make it a signature.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Which one? Who do you think would be the best to sign it?
I mean, probably Gary.
Yeah. Would make the most sense.
Yeah.
So
we'll bring it to the booth and we'll see, we'll see who's interested. I don't know if they'd want to. Like some people might refuse to sign it because of what it is.
Because we also don't know if it's canon.
We don't know.
Have to figure out.
I don't know, but that lore is enough for me to. We had to have it. This podcast had to have them.
Two of them.
So,
how do you find one day? That's crazy.
I know they had it stashed, and I love finding like these hidden gems. And that's reach out to people. Right, that's the only way. It's networking.
Was it even labeled as 32A?
No.
Oh man, nobody's even gonna find these.
It was actually, I saw it in a picture of something else, VeeFriends related. And it was like, I saw it in the background of the picture, and I like messaged, and it was great. It was great. I'll show you the messages, but I wanted to reveal and get your live reaction. So we'll probably do an episode of that. We'll do an episode of that when it comes in, but, I just had to tell you.
That's going to be so good.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any segments?
We do.
Okay, cool. Because we don't have an issue to go over.
No, but I want to touch on, it's almost April, which I want to say last year, April is when the Goats got the first comic.
Oh, cool. So it's like a 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. It's almost like 1 year of VeeFriends comics. I know in May was when issue 2 came out, The Fairy. So it's like, it's been 1 year basically of VeeFriends comics, which is crazy.
And here it is. This is what was sent out. The original VeeFriends comic book #1. Limited edition sent to the gift goats.
Such a good job on that one. Like the packaging and everything. Their packaging has been so on point with so many products. Like they put so much into the experience of it.
I'm such a sucker for packaging. And what was cool is they not only gave the comic, which was pre-graded, they gave a lithograph of the first issue cover. So there's like two items inside. I mean, the packaging is just, it's elite.
There's one more thing I want to show. I think it's special, and it happened at the Texas meetup.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No, we can definitely keep this in.
We have talked about it before on the podcast that we started a Read More Comics collection for our podcast, where we let everybody who's on the podcast sign the issue that they came on for. We still need some signatures. We're coming for you guys. But we decided issue number 3 was the first time you and I really sat down and dove deep into one issue. It was also the first time that we both revisited a comic that we didn't really feel like connected with us in the first time. And like that concept of rereading a comic really became something super important. And like we really pushed with other people that sometimes you don't really get out of it the essence of it, and you have to just kind of go back to it. And I feel like that was really big on this issue. And I just looked back today. It was the first time you and me ended with Read More Comics.
Oh, is that right?
So DJ was the one in volume 2 who said that this is something he always tells people, like read more comics. But we didn't do it in 1. We didn't do it with Rips. And this was the first time when we covered this issue, we said it. And ever since, we've said it every issue. So like that was our, I think it's also the first time we did favorite panel. So a lot of things I feel like that really made our podcast what it is now started in this issue. So we both signed it. And for people who don't know, you don't sign things.
I don't.
You write your name. You write Tom or teacher, but that's not your signature.
So I get.
Most people have never seen this. This is an amazing signature, by the way.
That is my actual signature. Like when I sign documents, that's my signature. But you know, at events, people will ask like, "Oh, I want everyone to sign this thing." Which, by the way, I didn't even get asked. I saw it being passed around, and I didn't. I was like, if they ask, I'll write it. No one asked me to sign that Rare Robot comic. So
I didn't sign it either. Nobody asked me either.
Exactly. V-Scoot now has it, by the way. So people ask me to sign, and I'm just like, I got it. I don't want to say no, because I'm not trying to be, it's not like I'm not trying to be cool by saying I don't sign stuff. I'm uncomfortable with it. People asking me to sign stuff. But I don't want to say no, so I just say okay. But all I do is write Tom Teager. Like I don't even sign. I just write the word, just so that like it appeases them. I don't. It's not me signing my real signature. So like I'm not an artist. So when I don't want to sign the catfish card, I didn't create the catfish. I didn't do the art for the catfish. All I did was buy a catfish 5 years ago. So like. I don't feel like I should sign. You know what I mean? I get, and I'm not saying like anyone's doing anything wrong by doing so. It's just, it makes me uncomfortable. So I write Tom T, but that is my true autograph. And I'm only, I'm doing that or signature because it's for us. I mean, it's going to be in our possession. We have to figure out how to read more fucking comics on it.
I know. We couldn't decide.
You were so freaked out about it. I'm like, Andrew,
I don't want to do it wrong.
I don't know. I can't. I don't want to do it. You deciding where to sign. I was like, all right, well, where are you signing so that I don't go where you're. Yeah. It took like 5 minutes.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Way too long to write a signature.
Way too long.
But like,
it's special to you. I know.
Yeah. Like, and I'm grateful that you did. Like, you would have said no, and I would have been okay with that because I know that you don't usually do that. So that.
I mean, like some people like it. Most of the time, it's for people like want to have. I'm having all the maxis sign their character and like, that's cool. I like that. Tom Teager, like that is who owns the cafe. Like it's still me. I'm still writing it, but like, I don't want to put my signature on something that I have nothing to do with. I had nothing to do with that comic, which is the only reason that I did, but like the whole purpose behind it is from our creation, right? The podcast, even though DJ gave us the Read More Comics thing, like, we kind of embraced that and took that on. So, and that issue and that episode was the first one that you and I did ever by ourselves. The first episode of this podcast was me and you. We didn't cover an issue. We just BS'd for an hour. Then we had DJ on, then we had Rips on. And then that was the first time you and I did it. And It's our highest viewed one where it's just us still.
Yep.
And it was just it was meaningful to me too. So I'm like, this is a meaningful event. So
I think it was also after we did that episode, we both felt like this is what we want our podcast to be.
Yeah.
We want to dive deep. We are okay with like spoiling stuff. We want to figure out like little Easter eggs we find in it, like what it means to us, having our favorite panels. Like there were so many things we did for the first time, and it felt so right and good after that episode ended. It was like, this is what we want this to be. Because when we both started, we're like, we're going to interview people. We're going to talk about we didn't really know. We didn't have a plan of like what this really would look like.
To be frank, we still don't. Yeah, I mean, just take this episode as an example. We have no fucking clue where we're going with this. But we like talking about it. That's all that matters. And I think people like the people that do like listening to it, the few, we appreciate you more than you know. They like it because we like we're just talking about shit we like and that they like. So let's get into like some games or segments or something.
I have 2 games.
Okay,
I have one. Has nothing to do with the podcast or anything. It's just German sayings. Ooh. And I'm going to translate them one for one. And you have to guess what it might mean. And the second one, I asked ChatGPT to ask us 20 questions about VeeFriends comics, and just, I didn't read them. It could be complete disaster. Or could be good.
All right, I have one segment too. So wait, the German thing, it's not
has nothing to do with comics.
But VeeFriends?
Nope. It's just German sayings
with no context. How the fuck am I going to guess what it is? It's just going to sound like you're yelling at me.
Yes. So I'm telling you the English translation, but it's like translating it one by one, like just exactly for the word. So none of this makes sense. And you have to guess what they actually mean.
Okay.
I can say them in German too, if that helps.
Well, yes, you're going to say it in German too, obviously. But I don't fully understand. So let's get into that so that it can crash and burn and we can move on to the other
And I can read them in the way they're supposed to be meant.
Yes, so of course. We need authenticity.
Okay, the German one is, du gehst mir auf den Keks. You're going on my cookie.
You're going on my cookie.
You're going on my cookie.
Wait, I say the German phrase again.
Du gehst mir auf den Keks.
Why is cakes convert to cookies? Because you say cakes at the end of that sentence, and then you'd something about, because before you said it, I go, this is about cake. And then you said cookies.
Cakes. K-E-K-S is cakes. It's a cookie.
Yep. Birthday cake. Okay. But so cakes means cookies in German. Got it. Okay. You're on my cookies.
You're going on my cookies.
You're going on my cookies. I think what you're trying to say is I'm going to make you some cookies. I'm going to bake you some cookies.
I should actually say this to you all the time.
Okay.
It means you're annoying me.
What? How?
It just does. That's what it means.
But so the real translation of the words that you say, so like if you took the German words that you said and like put it in different sentences.
Oh, that's an expression. Like you would say to somebody, like, du gehst mir auf den Keks.
Okay, so what if you say like, I want a cookie? Say I want a cookie.
Ich möchte einen Keks.
What's
that?
It's
just, ich möchte einen Keks. I want a cookie.
Okay, so like, right. Okay, so what's like an equivalent in English that like if I say you're driving me bananas, right? Like, it has nothing to do with
that makes no sense in German.
But it means you're annoying me.
Yeah.
So it's essentially, you're driving me bananas is the same as you're going on my cookies.
Yeah.
Which means you're annoying me.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. Okay.
The German one is, das Leben ist kein Ponyhof. Life is no pony farm. Life is no pony farm.
Life is no pony farm.
None of these make sense, let's face it.
This doesn't make sense. So like, but this is all trickery because like, this isn't even like it has nothing to do. I won't be able to get it at all.
No.
Life is no pony farm. That means I'm taking out the trash. Like, who knows? It could be anything.
Yeah.
What is it?
Life can be challenging.
Well, that is similar to what this. I mean, the whole pony farm thing makes no sense. But like, you're going on cookies. You're annoying. Not like that's nothing. Okay, life is
basically
no
Germans are always annoyed. Let's just stick with that.
Annoyed. You do always sound annoyed. Okay.
The German one is jetzt haben wir den Salat. Now we have the salad.
Now we have
the salad.
The salad.
Mm-hmm. Now we have the salad.
Now we have the salad. Fucking salad. Now we have the salad. I mean, I guess they're not talking about, the appetizer to their meal and say, now we have the salad. So, now we have the salad.
It's so funny too, because you say them so easily in Germany, and then you think about it as like, oh yeah, they make no sense. But you're so used to them.
Like, do you know you're saying now you have the salad? You have like it's as if like I just, stub my tongue, go, now you have the salad, like
that's how I say it. That's how you would say it.
I don't know. That one obviously means, it's time for bed.
Absolutely. No. Now everything is a mess. Now you have the salad.
But why?
Maybe because the salad is all mixed together and it's like
and chaos and
I don't know, man.
Together. Okay. All right. Fucking Germany.
like some of these, I say them all the time in Germany, and translating them is like, these are so stupid.
What if I went to Germany and I was Tom in Germany, like your book, and I said, "You're going on the cookie"? Would people laugh, or they'd be like, even because if they speak English and they know what I'm saying, like, are they going to be like, "Hey"?
You would say, "You're going on my cookie." I think my mom would understand it, because that's how my mom's English is. It's very much like she translates like word for word. So I think she would get it. People who actually speak English will be like, "What are you talking about, man?" Like, it makes no sense.
So if I just like am hanging out at the German Hofbrauhaus, no, you hate when I say that.
Not Bavarian.
Yeah, I know. You get very defensive about that. There's a story behind that. I don't know what it is. But all right, I'm at the bar. Do you call them pubs? What do you call them? Bars? Okay. And I just go, life's no pony farm.
Yep. People
like,
actually understand that.
I think like, hey, cheer, like they, okay. All right.
They would.
Okay.
The next one is Klappe zu, Affe tot. Lid closed, monkey dead.
And I'm flattered, but I'm married. So, what? What did you just say?
What did you hear? Lid closed.
Say.
What just happened?
I don't know. I'm just guessing shit.
Lid closed, monkey dead.
Lit closed?
Monkey dead.
Okay. Monkey dead. Lit closed. First off, I thought you said something with lick, and that's where I just went, you're flirting with me. Lit closed, monkey dead. Lit closed means not like that's gibberish.
Like a lid is closed.
A lid.
Yeah.
Lid closed,
so monkey dead.
It's like done deal. Like, it's like we're done. Like, case closed. We're moving on.
Yeah. It's like, it's over. It's finished.
Yeah. That's, okay. Yeah. All right. I was like,
you're getting there. You're turning into a German.
Yeah. In fact, it was the opposite. You weren't flirting. You were breaking up. Yes. You were breaking up with me there. Okay. Got it.
Oh, man. I think that the next one is kind of, people would get it. The German one is das Blaue vom Himmel lügen. To promise the blue from the sky. Even I say German things, he's like, what?
Say the
You promise the blue from the sky.
Hold on. No, I need the German one again.
Das
Fluten,
Blaue,
fluten. Anytime it's like that, it just cracks me up. All right, say it again.
das Blaue vom Himmel lügen.
Okay. Himmeluten.
What?
I don't know. I'm trying to say it. It just
To promise the blue from the sky.
to promise the blue from the sky. I don't know. That sounds like if you're giving someone the world, like I don't know.
To promise the impossible. Which kind of makes sense because you can't get the
does.
blue from the sky.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one. That's the most like non-crazy one.
Yeah.
It's almost like philosophical.
Which we are. We have a lot of
Yeah, look
philosophers in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
I believe you. I'm not smart enough to argue with that point. I don't know.
Don't argue with Germans.
I don't want the fluten Newton.
Das ist Jacke wie Hose. That's jacket like pants.
Jacket like pants.
Like pants. That's jacket like pants.
Jacket like pants.
Mm-hmm. It translates to trousers, but I'm like
jacket like trousers.
Like pants.
Yeah.
We're not in Britain here. Who says trousers here?
They say no, I can't say it. I know I'll mess it up and say a bad word. Okay. Jacket like trousers.
That's jacket like trousers. That's how you would say it.
With that shrug, like
that's jacket like trousers.
This is a fucking idiot.
It doesn't matter.
That
makes no sense.
That just say it doesn't matter. That's just a long-winded way of saying this something short. Why would
especially like it's two different types of clothing. It's not like it's jacket like sweatshirt. You know, both keeps you warm. It's like different body parts.
Yeah.
Like, none of it makes sense. Welcome to Germany.
I'm not.
Did I mention we have 3 different articles? Actually, we have more than that, but
articles.
Yeah, like you just say the, and we have der, die, das, which is male, female, and something in between.
For the?
Yeah.
Why do you have to gender the?
You just have to. And it's not like it makes sense. Like, for example, a skirt is male. Makes.
A skirt is male?
Mm-hmm. It's der Rock.
So it's like
it has a male article, but it's
right.
Piece of like you just have to know.
Article. I mean, listen, you Europeans, like some of the males wear skirt. There's kilts. I know that's not a German thing, but like you know.
But there's no rhyme or reason. Like when I try to teach my husband like German, he's like, when do I use this and this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just I just know which one to use. Don't ask me like how I learned that or how you just know at some point. So good luck.
You know, let's not pretend the English language makes sense.
Have you ever seen the videos where they like write something and then they like changes the beginning letter and it's like, what the hell, people?
I love the guy where he's like, so how do you say this? And they're like, though. So then this would be row. No. Why would you do that? It's rough.
And it's like, so true. It's ridiculous how you guys do things. None of it makes sense.
No.
Half the letters don't even exist. Like, or not spoken. It's like, what is wrong with you guys?
I don't know. And everyone's got it. Like everyone makes fun of, British. They have like their weird fucking sayings too. So anyway, not going to learn German anytime soon.
I did hear you say though, last night when you guys opened the cards.
Uh-huh.
Giselle what? She's a German last name.
Yeah, it is. I'm not German, so
you say
Bunchen, but Bunchen. All right, let's not pretend I said it wildly different. I said Bunchen, and it's Bunchen.
That's not Bunchen. It's a Bunchen.
It's Bunchen in America.
Oh, it's Bunchen.
It's Bunchen.
I have a.
I can't say that.
My maiden name also has the U with a double dot, so I'm like, yes.
Yeah, like, listen, the only acceptable letters with dots is an I.
That's why I changed my name. It's like, yeah, I'm taking yours. I'm
Bag.
good.
I'm Bag.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care what your last name is. We're taking yours. Like the
Your
mess.
last name could be Bag, and I'll take it. I think it's stupid if I went, oh, Giselle Bundchen. Like, it just sounds so dumb for me to say that. So I'm going to say the Americanized version because that's the only way that I can ignorantly say the wrong way and it still be fine because I'm not expected to know dialects and whatever. Is there like different accents, like, North accent, South accent? Okay. Like, is there
That's
a
how we
lot?
make fun of Bavaria.
Okay.
Bavaria has such a strong accent that you don't understand them. When they're talking their dialect, that's not German.
So it's like if I went to Louisiana and talked to the Cajuns and they're just like from another planet. Okay. Okay. That was fun. Thank you for educate. This is an educational episode.
Yes. You guys just learned something. Now when you go to Germany, life's not a pony.
Learn that life is no pony farm.
Pony farm. I just said the German word. What is happening?
All right, let's not make pants of trousers or jackets or whatever you said. And let's move to the next one.
Do you want to go with your game? Do you want me to do the questions?
No, let's wrap with yours. So I also used a generator to come up with 10 to 20. I might skip some. We'll go through some together or we can cut some. I asked for hot takes. And we have to say if we agree or disagree with it and defend what we have to say.
Okay.
If we disagree, especially. And so I'll read it and then we'll kind of, count 1, 2, 3, and then say if we agree or disagree after a second or so. All right. Patient Panda is overrated. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Disagree. Good. I almost switched it to Pig just to rile you up.
Oh, then I've been like.
You would have said yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're both Team Panda, right? Yeah.
It's the only team to be on.
It's funny, like the statement also has a sub-statement. So it says Patient Panda is overrated. Everyone, so that's the hot take. Everyone loves patience, but it's one of the least actionable traits in today's world. Okay, number 2, hustling hamster would fail in 2026. Or do you want to let's get the reaction just to the hot take and then I'll read the next part.
Can you read it again?
Hustling hamster would fail. I think like if hustling hamster was real and lived up to its trait, would fail in 2026. 1, 2, 3. Disagree. Yeah. It says grinding nonstop is outdated. Leverage is greater than hustling. I don't disagree with that part. I think grind culture can and is going, has gone too far and it's not sustainable. But also like, I also don't want to agree with like, don't work hard.
I think that there's a balance between you working hard. I think you need to know why you're doing it. I think that's the biggest part. If you just work hard because people tell you to work hard, it's like, and you don't have a goal or you don't know like why you're doing something, then yes, you work yourself into the ground. Like you have to have a goal to reach or like something you want to accomplish to kind of measure, I'm doing this and it's getting me closer to this outcome. And if you're not, then you're just being busy all day. And like, it's like this, I worked all day and I didn't know what I did all day.
Right.
Because you didn't have a goal. You didn't know like where to actually, you're working towards. Sure.
Yep. Yeah. If you're doing it for the right reason, you know, if you're passionate or.
And measuring it in between.
Sure.
Like, and sometimes you just have to like check in between, like, am I still like on the path that I want to go to? And I'm like, am I not actually accomplishing anything? Then stop what you're doing.
The art style is a feature, not a limitation. And that's like a little bit confusing. So I think this is an easy one. The subtext was, if the art was better, it would have lost its authenticity.
Oh, from series 1?
Yeah, I guess so. So 1, 2, 3. Agree. Yeah. Okay. Accountable Ant is greater than every other character for real success. 1, 2, 3.
Disagree.
Agreed. I love disagreeing with you. All right,
I
subtext.
think I disagree because I feel like self-awareness is more important than accountability. If you don't know
That's
that you're not doing it right, like you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or like why you, if you're not aware of who you are and like what you have to work on or what your shortcomings are, what you're good at, like all the accountability does nothing to you. You can't be accountable for something you don't even know you have. So I think you have
right.
to
So
move up.
I think you said the one that is like so similar, right? Because you have to be self-aware to be accountable, right? Because if you do something wrong or realize that everything is on you, you're having self-awareness. So it's a little bit, there's some
I think
overlap. It's a
I
little
think
bit
yeah, I
redundant.
think one doesn't work without the other.
Yeah, you can't be accountable without being self-aware
Yeah, true.
because unself-aware people don't hold themselves accountable.
I
They
think
always point someone else. They always blame something else.
yes.
And it says it's the subtext was it's the one trait people avoid but need the most, which you could argue self-awareness as well. So you said the one, but I think if you take that out, I think it's
Yeah.
there. Cause like I've heard Gary say it and it unlocked, and it's funny because he uses that term. He says accountability is the unlock. Like when you realize that it's all on you,
Mhm.
no matter what, you unlock
Yep.
like all of the like insecurity, all the unhappiness is realizing that it's like it's on you, but just take the accountability and it's fun. You know what I mean?
I think
And
those two together are like, if you have both, you're gonna be unstoppable.
yeah,
You because you care less about what other people think about you because you know who you are. I think those two, if you have those two, like you're pretty much set for life.
yeah. I like that you said on quick, like quick on the fly, you said the one that made me hesitant
Mhm.
because that's the only one that I would have accepted as like a argument because I feel like it's very similar. But if
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
said like empathy, I would have been like,
Yep.
no, you're wrong. This one's really tough for me. The comics are more important long term than the NFTs. Oh God. 1, 2, 3.
Agree.
Disagree. No.
I know that the NFTs are important. I know they're pushing them, but I know too many people who are really understanding this IP. And again, it has nothing, maybe it's overall, I don't think there's too many people that I've seen who really push this IP, who push what it means, who don't own any of the NFTs, who got them way later, that I
100%.
don't think you need an NFT to understand this. I think it's a lot of people, once you understand it, you try to make the move to own the NFT because it's always been the push by the team and by Gary. I think if the team and the Gary would not push the NFT and wouldn't constantly say that's the non-plus ultra, I don't think as many people would buy them because I just believe I bought my Series 1 because I believe in this IP, not because I wanted an NFT. I don't care if my NFT goes to zero. My NFT was for me to show myself I'm all in because I
You
knew
know
that
what?
was always the non plus ultra that everybody said. I do believe that the comics and the stories are finally showing why this exists and what Gary's mind behind is building this or like creating it in the first place. The NFTs don't do that for me.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with all of it. And you brought up, I'm going to ask a question in a second that I've never thought about before. But I think it plays into it. Everything you're saying is correct. The comics are more like they're more important long term than the cards for building the characters and all that. So like I agree with everything you're saying. The only reason that I am saying disagree because to fall in love with the characters, the comics are more important. But the IP as a whole, the business as a whole was built on the NFT. It just you can't eliminate that from
And
its history
I don't think you have to
because it's
eliminate,
the birth. It's the birth of all of it.
but
So
I feel
like
like also knowing how okay Gary is with changing his mind on things while it was started on an NFT. And I think they're always pushing it because so many people spend so much on it and they feel like
Sure.
they have a responsibility. I I think if there wouldn't be such a push from a lot of NFT holders that this needs to be the most important thing and I spent so much money on it. I'm not saying the blockchain is important. And Gary knows that and everybody
Yep.
understands that. Um, but the NFT is not what most people, unless you're talking mint, since mint, like in the last 2-3 years, people did not come in. I bought this NFT, and now I'm like, they bought the NFT because they're bought into the idea around
You're
VeeFriends.
right. More people are finding it. If it said the comics are more important for growth than the NFTs, it's a no-brainer.
Mhm.
It just says important long term. It's what started it all. There is no comics without it. So, it's to me like there are no comics, there are no cards. Like the NFT started it all. So it's very tough. I mean, that's why I said this is a
I
hard
think,
one because everything you're saying is right.
and I feel
And
like
I don't think anyone would argue that the comics are taking VeeFriends to a level that NFTs never ever could. The cards elevated to a level that the NFTs never ever could. So in that sense, like everything you're saying, but like there are no cards, there are no comics, there are no TV shows, there are no anything without the NFTs. That's where it started. A movie. This might be a terrible one, but it's the only example I'm thinking of that came to my head first. The movies of Harry Potter, like the books were massive, right? So like it's stupid to say that was but I've never read it and I've seen every movie. Most people, especially hardcore fans, have read and watched, right? And they'll say the books are better, the books are more important. I've never read the books. I enjoyed the movies. It was fine. The movies reached more people. I don't think there's, two theme parks or several theme parks around the world built without the movies. So you could argue that the movie is more important than the books, but they're not because the books created it all.
And I think that there's a difference between importance versus creation.
Sure.
Like
I'm going off of
while
what it says.
it started with the NFTs, it also started with Gary. And Gary himself knows VeeFriends has to grow past Gary to be successful.
Sure.
People have to know VeeFriends without even knowing Gary.
So this is
And I
the
think
question.
that's where when it grows, it might grow past the end. People know and people are into it, but I think there's going to be people who buy the cards or buy the comics or buy something else and will never own an NFT because they just believe in it.
What's awesome is it already has grown past NFTs. It already has, that's what I'm saying. It has penetrated and brought it to a level that NFTs never could take it. But none of that happens without it. So, that's the only reason. And but the question I had that you raised is if the NFT project went to zero as a whole, could VeeFriends still last? I think yes.
Yeah.
Do you
because
think
they have enough other, I think that
they're not making
a lot of
money
people
on
really
the
upset and a lot of people would leave. But I feel like the people who are leaving are not the people right now who are buying the cards or buying the comics.
Well, they might be, but they're not the ones that are going to keep the brand going. Like
The NFTs are not what keeps the brand going right now.
Correct. They don't make any more money.
It's us who buy the comics, who buy the cards, who make this is who grows it and keeps it alive.
If it goes to zero, you and I will still be, if they keep churning out comics, we'll still be talking about them. So yeah, they don't need, I don't know. I've never thought about it. I always was saying in the Web3 space, sure. But you've built these characters now, they've been around for 5 years. They're getting recognition without people who don't even know what an NFT is. And yet people are finding comics and cards, even though they don't know what an NFT is or know who Gary is. So they've already surpassed it. So it can still go. It's a big blow to it because a lot of the people that are buying the cards are holders of the NFTs, and they believe in it. And if the NFT fails, in that the they all go to zero, which isn't going to happen, right? But if it did, those people might lose interest in buying the collectibles because they're like, oh, it's going to just the first domino fell and now the rest are going to go. So I don't know, but it was an interesting topic that I think came up from that. So okay. VeeFriends would be bigger if it wasn't tied so closely to Gary. 1, 2, 3. Disagree. Maybe
still disagree. I don't think he's hurting it.
No.
Being there.
It wouldn't be anything without him.
No, I just feel
there will be a point that it grows, and that's why he wants to detach, because he knows there's going to be a point where it can't be reliant on him. Right? So, but we're 5 years in only.
Yep.
These 5 years, it wouldn't be what it is without him. So like it's disagree now.
And maybe it's different because of how I came into it. I didn't came into it because of Gary. Like for me, VeeFriends and Gary are two different things. I love Gary and I love what he has to say and I have so much respect for him, but that's two different things for me.
I get that. And as someone who was, there from the start, I came in because I followed Gary, and to me it was like in a way to invest in Gary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'll buy your picture of a doodle, right? Because that's all we knew what it was at the time, that we didn't, every project back then had a roadmap. And it was like, we're going to be on Netflix. We're going to have this. We're going to have, everyone had the same thing. And so like, that was, some delivered, some didn't. Gary had the power to deliver on some of that. And they didn't even really like, people would ask him to like, what's your roadmap? What's your roadmap? Because that became such commonplace to have a roadmap. And he was like, I don't have a fucking, like, you're not going to get a fucking roadmap from me. I'm just like, I'm going to deliver. Like, it's going to be the thing that I work on the rest of my life. Right. I was like, sure, I'll buy a picture of your doodle. Because to me, like, it wasn't what it is now, where it's like, okay, the traits and right. It was, to me, I like this guy. He's, he's from the Northeast. So am I, like the New York, New Jersey, type of attitude and all that. So I was following him. I liked the way he carried himself, and, he didn't wear fucking suits where I hate, so, all that stuff. And then it's like, this is a way to invest in him because this is something that he's creating. I can't invest in his companies. They're not publicly traded, right? This was a way to invest in him. And then it turned into, it eventually was like, oh, I do like these characters. I do like what they're doing. And it is still an investment in him because he's working on it constantly. But that's why he's not the president. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's involved, but like Andy and Rips do run it. He just has the influence in the name to get into open doors and get the meetings and all that stuff. But like, it's the other team delivering it, and they just like run it by him, or he's in the, in the room and they come up. It's a collaborative thing. So it's not reliant completely on him. It can't be. So I don't think today it would be bigger if it wasn't tied so closely to him. Someday there might be a ceiling where, it could go higher and he's the anchor holding it back. It's hard to imagine that, but there might be a day. There will be a day when that is the case. But right now, absolutely not.
I don't think it's an anchor. I think it's more the direction versus holding it back. I think VeeFriends is on a cusp right now. It's growing and stuff. Which crowd are we growing into? And I think
that's fair.
Who Gary is a certain crowd. And I think what VeeFriends is meant to or can do is his crowd, but also a different crowd. And I think that's why I see it's going to be interesting the next couple of years to see where it grows into, if he allows it to grow into that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It's a balance of, you want it to grow, so you got to get it into the hands of like influencers who
But I think that's the issue. But again, I'm trying to find the right words. But like, Which influencers are you putting it into?
Sure, exactly.
Are we going into the flippers and the card collectors
And that's a
only?
Gary thing. So like that's where he might be, but you have to generate revenue to keep the engine running. And those are the ones that lead to it. You can fucking partner with Miss Rachel, who's like teaching the kids whatever. I don't know Miss Rachel. I've never watched a single thing she's done.
I know who she is, but I didn't like.
Right, I know of her, but I like my kids never say I don't know anything about it. But like if this is supposed to be a kids brand, you want to partner with someone like that, but that doesn't make money, and you need to pay DJ to write comics. You need to pay Andy as a president and Rips as a director or whatever. Like there's a whole bunch of people that need to get paid. So like you need to generate revenue or else you're fucked. It doesn't matter.
But I think that there's a revenue left on at least from what I'm seeing. I think it goes very much into the collectors only versus you know best like who our crowd is right now. The biggest supporters, the most buyers is our age group.
Yes.
It's our age group with kids. And I'm sorry, but that's not what VeeFriends is reaching out to. That's not the influencers I'm seeing with VeeFriends. When I'm like, there's a proven age group that loves this shit because we had all the nostalgia things. We know collecting. We have the money now because we're in age, and now we have our kids who we also want to expose that to, and we're not dipping into it. And I don't know why.
We feel like we can do this because we have kids, right? We have young kids, but we love collecting. And this is like, I can get my collecting, I can scratch my collecting itch and enjoy it with my kids.
Yeah. And that's a big thing as a parent.
Right. Because like people have a lot to say, or there's a lot of judgment about 30 plus, 40 plus year olds with no children collecting Pokemon, saying this is a children's collectible thing, right? Even though people run real businesses off of Pokemon. But it's like, because it came out when we were kids, blah, 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 like there's a lot of judgment around it. Okay, fine. I have kids. So like if I was super into Pokemon, which I like it, I don't actively collect it, but my kids do like it. So like if I go to a card show and there's Pokemon there and I'm like, I kind of want to buy it. Like I watched a lot of the stuff. I try to keep up on trends of like the new sets coming out for the business side of it, but it's like, I want to enjoy it too. Like I can buy boxes. I can justify spending $100 on several packs to rip because I have my kid there with. Like VeeFriends is like that too. Cause like I can have these pictures of cute animals, like with alliteration names and all that stuff on my wall. They're worth thousands of dollars, but I could justify it because like, I have a kid and like, these are things that I want to bring them into and all that. So you're right. Or should we target 20 something year olds? I mean, the answer is all of it.
But I think there's also a difference between a flipper and a collector. When I look at our age group, it's a collector. I'm not saying we don't flip, we do too, but like we collect because we want to keep, we want to show our kids how this thing grows and stuff like that. We're more into investing versus the 20 something year olds are more into just the flipping for the most part. Versus, which again, I'm not against that. I know that's a Gary thing, but that's not the people who stick around, who like further the brand. They're just coming in, buying the stuff, selling it, and see that I can make money with this. I actually believe in it. When you believe in something, you bring it to others and you bring new people in and you bring a different energy to it versus like, this is a money-making thing. And the moment it doesn't make you money, you're out of here. So I feel like it's just, there's a whole crowd I feel like, in my opinion, we should tap into because it's a proven target group that has shown to drop a lot of money and a lot of like time into it that I feel like we just haven't tapped in yet.
Yeah. And those are the ones that, they don't make the money, they leave and then they call it a scam,
Yep.
It's funny though, the last one that we're not gonna do, but it's most people misunderstand what VeeFriends is. It's supposed to be subtext. They treat it like Pokemon instead of a mindset IP ecosystem. So that's just funny that it is that. Yep. All right, so that was it. That was ChatGPT's hot takes and whether we agree or disagree.
Yep. What's a VeeFriends comic that changed your opinion after you reread it?
Wow. It's not really trivia. That's an opinion-based question, but it's
This is
obviously.
not trivia. Like this, I'm not doing
I
trivia.
thought it was trivia.
No, it's just like I told it to ask us questions.
Got it. Issue 3.
Yeah. Which character do you connect with the most right now and why?
Gratitude Gorilla.
Why?
I've been having a lot of like shit had like the month of March, there was a lot of shit that went wrong in my personal life. A lot of shit. And in 2025 was one of the worst, like the worst shit happened, outside of like family members or friends, passing or getting like it was, but like I've kept my cool, and I'm someone who historically like erupts negatively when things don't go right. And but like I have been so able to reflect, maybe a rhinoceros, right? What's the rhino? Right. So like I have been able to, in those moments of like things going bad, like keep my cool, realize that it's, be grateful for that it wasn't this, right? And grateful that it wasn't that, and be like, so it's okay. And so I've been, and that's a muscle I've been trying to build for years. And I feel like I'm finally seeing the results of working on that. How about you?
Not sure who I'll connect to. I know who I need the most. That's weird to say, but like it's Focus Falcon. I have such a hard time staying on task right now. Like for a while now, that like it pisses me off that I know I could do so much more, and I can't focus. Like I'm so distracted all the time that it's pissing me off. Like it's I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to like what to do different. I just know like I have more potential and I'm not reaching it, and that I can't stand it. I don't know if it's balance, if it's focus. It's just I'm not there, and I'm trying to get there.
You need to be an Adderall Ann.
I did, and like
iteration. That's your VeeFriend character.
If the side effects wouldn't be so.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not promoting the use of.
Oh, I take it before. Like we both have ADHD. For people who don't know,
I'm on it.
I've been on and off. And like we tried to find like dosage and stuff, and just like while I'm focused on the moment, the side effects have been.
I've heard that creatine, which I've always associated with like meatheads, working out, but through my nutritionist, shout out to my nutritionist. Apparently,
like carrots.
Apparently recently there's studies like if you double or triple the daily amount, there's like brain benefits. I don't know.
I might try that.
I don't know anything, so don't listen to me.
But like I don't know if it's like the closest to me, but like that's the one I need to spend the most time with. Like I really want to get to that space to not feel so frustrated about it. What's the one comic moment that actually stuck with you in real life?
You go first.
Like there's a couple. I keep coming back to comic number 6.
Yeah.
The beginning of it, of like the turbulent times, because I feel like you go in and out of that, especially in our age. Like I've been through so many changes in the last couple of years of like job changes and just like family changes, and it's like just like making it through these uncertain times and not knowing what's coming next, but also knowing you have to go through that to have a better life. And then also like just like finding the right people, which is like a big VeeFriends thing for me. Of like I found my best friends in VeeFriends, and like people I really, really needed to meet to like believe in myself, like reach more of my potential. Like there's so much that I'm like so grateful for, like the people I met in this community, that I feel like comic 6 is something that I really feel like sits really deep with me.
Yeah, I mean, when you first said it, I couldn't even remember what it said in those first few pages of 6. I just know that every time I have read it, I go, ooh, got it. It cuts. So I'm going to cop out and say the same thing.
Yep. That was a good one. Which VeeFriends trait do you think is the hardest to actually live? I mean, there's so many traits. feel like recently, just because it came up earlier in your questions, it is empathy and compassion. I am very empathetic and compassionate, but I feel like, especially in VeeFriends, because we try so hard to help people, that I feel like sometimes, like with every trait, if you're too much of a trait, no matter how good it is, it turns bad. But I sometimes feel like because we are so compassionate and so helpful, that sometimes we enable bad behavior instead of stopping it. For like, there's so much empathy and compassion you should have for somebody until you see a pattern and you see that somebody doesn't want to change. And I feel like if you don't also call that out as a friend or whoever, then at some point, in my opinion, it turns into enabling and teaching that person that the way they handle situations is okay. Like, you don't know you're doing something wrong until somebody actually points it out to you.
Sure.
That's part of, I feel like, friendship too, of like, that's learning. We all always should be learning and getting better and stuff, but you can't do that if you don't have feedback. Like, that's what we as social people, like as a kid or anything, like somebody should give you feedback of like, this is okay and this is not okay. And if we're constantly just so empathetic that we always tell people it's fine because you're going through a hard time, it's fine because of those and this, we're never actually teaching people what's okay and like what was not okay. Like, that was too much.
You know what that's called?
What?
Accountability.
Then we go back to it.
What was the question again?
Which VeeFriends trait do you think is the hardest to actually live by?
Perfect Persian.
Oh yeah.
Can't live perfect.
No.
One's
Tried
right.
that. Didn't work.
No.
Oh, which comic would you hand to someone first to get into it? Into VeeFriends comic.
That is such a good question. I mean, you want to go number one just because it's the intro, it's the first one, but it's not necessarily the answer. Stop shaking your head. I wasn't done talking. I was saying that that's what most people might say. Depends on the person. If it's a general person, right? Because like I'll know if someone likes, can you hand issue 5 to someone? You can't hand it to anyone. So to just anyone, I would say. Do you have an easy answer? What's that?
Such a hard question.
Yeah. I think mass appeal is either God. I would say 9 or 10.
I was just about to say, yeah, Ken Warrior or Robot seem like good choices. I've heard a couple times, like I think it was Ribs who said 7. I was like, no. There's too many people who didn't understand it, like who aren't into action.
Right. And you're not gonna understand 7 more.
No.
The more you read. Like if you read every other issue first and then read issue 7, you'll have the same issues with like the same things with it. So, but I think 9 is very easily digestible, right? It's a, and I think when we covered it, I said like, this is a familiar story, right? And people can relate to the different characters because they're going through really human things. So, and I think it's easily digestible and people like, big, strong guys and swords and shields and all that stuff. I think where Robot is again, I think it has comedy. I think it has fun, futuristic setting. And, I don't know if a kid, like a young kid, like my 7-year-old won't understand Rare Robot fully. I don't think. I have to reread it. But like, I feel like there's stuff that'll go over that. They don't know what AI is. They don't know what like the current state and that they don't know that the world's at war and that there's, people dying in wars every day and attacks and all that. My kids don't know that. So like to when they talk about like AI helped, the future, they're going to be like, well, what was wrong with the world? We're kind of where you don't have to, it doesn't have like that global awareness type of, you don't need it. It's, so I would honestly, I think mass appeal, age doesn't matter, is 9. Am I crazy?
No, I think it's really hard to like, because they're all so different. And like some of them like to only make sense if you like really hits, if you know the characters, if you know VeeFriends, like it just, there's so many of them. Just I feel like it has to be a normal sized one too to introduce first. I don't think the short ones are long enough to really understand it.
Like Farm Fights is not deep, but it's also not for everyone.
No.
If you didn't love wrestling or know
5
anything about
isn't,
it.
7 isn't, 8. Not everybody's going to be into not having the words in it.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be 9 or 10 to be.
But like 2 is up there. I think 6 is fine. If you want to include just short ones, like I think 6 is fine. It's like it's like a, it has the good first, the words in the first few pages, and then it's a desert island, and then kind of twist ending and all that. So like I think that's fine. It's just if you want for a real comic reader or whatever, you want a full length.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
9 out of 10.
I think that's a good one to end with. Because that was a really. Let us know in the comments what you think the answers to all these questions, but I really want to hear about this one.
Yep.
If someone, whether they've read comics or not, said, give me a VeeFriends comic, I want to see what it's all about. Yep. Which one are you handing them?
Yeah.
Even if but like, it's not like, oh, I don't want, Alex to be like, oh, like I'm going to hand the astronaut to all my nerdy space friends. Like you don't know that about it. Like you're just a general you person. Well, this was fun. I don't, how will it go without covering an issue? We'll let the market be the market, like we always, we always do, and let us know. And if it sucks, good. We'll learn from it. Just don't leave us from this one episode.
Yeah.
Don't give up on us.
Yeah. Come up that we secured already.
Right. So next week will be a big interview, and then the week after that will be another big interview. So like we have stuff. We're not losing steam. We're not losing sauce. We have all the sauce.
Yep.
This life is a pony farm. From us here at Is It Can, and that's Ann, and I'm Tom. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, boost, retweet, requote, repost, whatever the fuck. Tell your mama and read more comics.
Read more fucking comics, people.
Listen to her, or she'll yell
open
at you.
Open them, read them. You can grade them too. You can share them, sell them, whatever, but open them and read them. Fuck's sake.
Can you say read more fucking comics in German, please?
Les mehr Comics? Verdammte? Why do you say fucking in German?
Verdammte is fuck?
It's more like damn. Read more damn comics.
There's no translation for fuck.
I'm trying to like we don't know. We wouldn't say it.
What a fail by Germany. How do you not have?
It might be a word I'm just not thinking of.
What if we just put the 2 dots above the U and it's Fukin? Fukin. Read more Fukin comics. Got her.
That's going to be the hashtag for this episode. And I posted.
All right.
Oh, man.
Thank you. See you next week.